Today on our 2017 Ford Edge Sport, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster automatic battery disconnect, part number RM-766. What's good about the battery disconnect is it's going to allow you to push a button and disconnect your battery, in turn turning the power off to the inside of the vehicle. Now the reason you need that is for this Ford Edge, when you're in tow mode, you have to have the key in the on position. Once it's in tow mode, this switch will allow you to turn off your power, in turn saving power for your battery. When you get to where you're going, you simply flip this switch and you're able to drive your car again without draining your battery. Now your solenoid is going to mount underneath your hood. You can mount it to plastic or to metal. Keep in mind, if it's mounted to plastic, your kit's going to come with a white wire. It's going to be a ground wire. It will have to be grounded. If the solenoid is mounted to a metal surface, you will not have to use that white wire to ground it. You want to make sure wherever you mount your solenoid that it's close enough to your battery your cable is going to reach it. Now let's go over the 5 main components of our flat tow setup on our Ford Edge. Here we're going to have the Roadmaster Sterling all-terrain tow bar, which is going to come with your safety cables, the Roadmaster EZ4 base plate, the Air Force One braking system, and the Hopkins custom fit towed vehicle wiring. First thing we need to do is find a good place to mount our unit. Right about here seems like about a good place to do it. You want to make sure that wherever you mount it, that your cables are close enough to reach your battery. So once you find a good place, you're going to take your self-tapping screws that come in your kit. I'm going to take a paint marker. I'm going to mark the center. We'll go ahead and get one screw started. Once you have your first one in, you can mount your second screw. Next, I'm going to take my 2 red cables. I'm going to go around and underneath here. In my black, my red, and my blue wire, we're going to route inside the vehicle, and they're going to be connected to the switch. I loosened the nut to turn my cables down just a little bit so they don't come out of the protective covering. You just want to make sure you follow the instructions when you tighten them back up. So now in your kit, you're going to get a bundle of gray wire, and inside this coating that we're going to be opening up here in a second, it's going to have 3 wires running in it. We need to run this inside the vehicle. There's a grommet right back on the firewall. I took an airline tube, poked a hole in the grommet and ran the airline tube out. I ran my wire inside the airline tube. Now I'm going to go inside and pull this bundle in. Now I'm going to strip my coating back to get my 3 wires out. Now we can strip those and make our connections. So on our solenoid, we're only going to be using the blue wire, the black wire, and the red wire. The yellow wire will not be used. Now your kit comes with butt connectors. Since this is going to be outside of the vehicle, I recommend picking up some heat shrink connectors. Now we're going to match black and red with the black and red wires on our solenoid, and the white wire is going to go to the blue wire. Now we're going to use a heat gun to shrink up our butt connectors. You want to make sure anything that's behind it, if you're aiming anywhere, you want to make sure that it's not going to melt or catch on fire. You just want to shrink the butt connectors. Now I'll take some electrical tape and just cover them up to help protect them a little bit better. Kind of clean up the install a little bit. Next thing we need to do is come inside the vehicle and find a good place to mount our switch. Now you can mount it up on your dash here. With this vehicle, the casing that holds the airbag comes out about like this. There's a metal bracket that runs all the way across here. It's going to be hard if you put this in here to get the wires connected with that metal bracket there. I think if we put it about right here, I think it'd work just fine. You just want to make sure you leave enough wire so that this can be disconnected if this panel has to be removed. I'm going to take a small screwdriver and we'll pop this little cap off for our hood release. So we're gonna have to remove this panel, and how you do that is you pop that little cap off. On each side of this, there are two little plastic tabs, and what they do is on the inside of there, you're gonna have a plastic tab on this side, plastic tab here. On the inside of this, you can see there's like a flat section. What happens is when you push that in, those two little flat tabs, or those two little tabs, spring out like this, and they hold this in place. So you have to get a couple little screwdrivers, pinch those two together, and pull this out. First, we need to start by removing this sill panel here. Pull up on it. You have a couple clips on the bottom. Now, this lights up, so we're just gonna set it aside. We don't need to unplug anything. And as for this one, we'll take our trim panel tool. We're just gonna pry it like that. A little shortcut way. We'll take a plastic trim panel tool, remove this. Now we'll remove this panel. We'll set it aside. And on this bottom panel here, your foot pad, you're gonna pull that out. From here, we're gonna take this panel. We're gonna come up here to the top, pull back your weather strip here. Pull it out. You're just gonna work your way down. So you pull it out, and you'll be able to get that out. I'm gonna take a 3/4 inch drill bit if you have one, or a hole saw bit. Drill my hole right here. So now we've got our switch in place. We'll go ahead and put on our ring. It goes on the back. Just want to make sure that's snug enough that your switch isn't going to come out. Now we can connect our wires. So next I'm going to route my wire. So keep it hidden. I'm going to go back behind this panel. There's like a metal bracket here that's protecting all of my other wiring, my factory wiring. I'm going to take my gray wire and go right behind it. Like that. Then again, since our switch is going to be sitting right in here, I just want to make sure I leave myself plenty of wire that if we have to take that panel off, we can remove the wires from the back of the switch. Take that off. In your kit, you're going to get some red female connectors. Connect one of those on each one of our wires. Once you have your female ends on, you can connect them to the back of your switch. We're going to take our red one. It's going to go on the top. Our white is going to go in the center. And our black is going to be on the bottom. Now we'll go in reverse order, get our panels put back into place. Next, our two wires are going to have one labeled battery cable and one labeled battery post. We're going to go to our positive side of our battery. We're going to remove this. Now what we need to do is we need to connect our battery post cable coming off our solenoid to our positive side of our battery post, and our battery cable side to the cable that we removed from our positive side of our battery post. Now, for this vehicle, if you see this connection here, it's actually attached to the wiring. So what we're going to have to do, because there's no way to attach this cable to the posts, because we're going to be removing this, is part number DW05310-1, and this is going to take the place of that. So this is going to be connected on here onto the positive side of the battery post, and then our battery cable side, we're going to attach it. Once we remove this, we're going to attach it right here in between that nut and this bracket here. Now, if your vehicle is a little different and this piece is not attached to your actual cable, then you won't need this. you should be able to just attach this to your cable side with the nut and bolt that comes in your kit and washers, and then you'd connect that to this piece. Now, if this piece is not connected to your battery cable, then you can just connect it normally to the battery cable coming off your solenoid. Once you have everything connected, you're going to want to put in your fuse. Make sure your fuse goes on your battery post cable. Then we'll test it out, and then we'll tidy up our install. So to test it out, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our key in the on position. We're going to push our toggle switch, figure out either down or up is going to turn it off. So down is going to be tow mode, up is going to be drive mode. Your kit's going to come with 2 stickers to mark accordingly. Now we'll take a little bit of rubbing alcohol. You just want to clean the area before you apply your stickers. Now that we've tested it out, we'll go ahead and clean up our install. You want to make sure that your battery cable side that's connected to the battery cable itself, you want to make sure that that is completely covered. You want to make sure that it's not going to have any metal that's going to touch it or anything like that. So I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to tuck it right down inside here. And that'll do it for a look at and installation on the Roadmaster automatic battery disconnect, part number RM-766 on our 2017 Ford Edge Sport.